Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Niku, and this is the Trading Setup channel. So, apologies for for those of you that joined a little bit earlier. My internet died for a little bit, and it took a while to get back up. Not sure what happened, but we are up, we are running, and we're going to do this session on Martingale. So in a minute, we're going to look at Martingale as a money management strategy. We're going to look at the pros and cons. We're going to look at how it affects your profitability, and then we're going to apply it to our trades. We're going to go to the charts after that and just going to have a look at a few trades and see how we can use Martingale as a money management strategy. Okay, so those of you that's joined, I also do encourage you guys. The chat is open. I am keeping an eye on it. If you have any questions while I'm explaining something, if something's unclear, feel free to ask. We can address the questions as we go along, and yeah. So even if you just want to say hello, it's always appreciated. Okay, so lastly, before we go to we kick off with Martingale, those of you that's trading with PO Broker, I do have a code for you guys today for an 80% deposit bonus. That code today is Martingale 80. So you can use that on a deposit from as little as $10. You will get an 80% deposit bonus. Okay. So before we're going to head to the charts, we're just going to have a look at how Martingale works. And then, so we understand it, and then we're going to go to the charts and look for a few trades as well. On my spreadsheet here, you guys will see, let's just change that quickly. So you guys will see, this is a spreadsheet I just drew up quickly to explain how to calculate your risk when you're using Martingale. We're going to be using a 3-step Martingale today. So we're going to do a trade. If that trade loses, we're going to do a Martingale trade, and after that, another Martingale trade. The minimum amount you do need for this is $10. So on $100, assuming you have $100 in your account, we can, if we take 10%, that will allow us to use the minimum of $10 to do a 3-step Martingale trade. So calculating, this is my payout currently with PO Broker, and then my Martingale multiplier will be 2.5. That means whatever size trade we're taking, the next trade will be 2.5 times the previous trade. Okay, so just to explain to you guys quickly, if I'm on a 92% payout, if I do a $1 trade, for example, if I win this trade, I'm going to get a 92-cent payout. If that trade loses, I'm going to be taking a $2.5 trade. If that trade wins, I'm going to get a profit of $1.30, because remember, it's going to be 92% on the $2.50, but I also need to subtract the trade I previously lost, which is going to be $1. If my second trade loses, we're going to go 2.5 again, and then we're going to say we're going to get a value of 6.25. So if we win that trade, my profit will be 2.25, because it's 92% on 6.25, but I have to subtract the values of the previous two trades that I lost to determine my actual profit. Okay, so one of the reasons I'm not too fond personally of a Martingale money management strategy is we are risking $9.75 to make $2.25 profit. And for me, that's the risk reward is a little bit off balance, but on the other hand, if you do have a very solid strategy and you have patience and you wait for your trades like you're supposed to, then Martingale will very often help you out of keep you from incurring losses, because it's very seldom then that we will lose 3 trades in a row. Okay, so today I'm going to use this trading as if I have $500 in my account. I'm going to make this a little bit less. We're going to switch that to 5%. So we're going to be risking 25% with each trade. Okay, so I'm going to kick off with 2.5. First trade, and then we're just going to multiply. We don't need to come back to the spreadsheet for this. We can just do everything inside the platform. So let's go to the charts and see if we can get a few trades. Okay, so we're currently on Euro USD. Those of you that's been following me for a while will know that exactly which strategies I'm using. I'm just going to be using my normal trading strategies today because today is not a day we're going to be looking at specific strategies. Instead, we're going to look at, we're just going to have a look at Martingale as a trading strategy. So let's just make sure we have a multiplier of 2.5 in there, and we have a multiplier of 2.5 in there. Okay, so if this is your first time watching, just a quick explanation of what is on the charts at the moment. We have 3 moving averages. It's a 50, 100, and 200 moving average. We're going to use these as dynamic support and resistance areas. We also have Bollinger Bands on our chart. These, the value for the Bollinger Bands is a 14 period with a 2 deviation. And then we've got the ADX stochastic oscillator and RSI on default values. Okay, so we're going to be looking at a few different strategies, but we're going to see if we can pick up some trades. And hopefully, we're going to lose 1 or 2 of them so that we can apply the Martingale money management to our trading and see if we can recover the losses we incur. Again, I do encourage you guys, if you have any questions, again, feel free to ask. It's always better to ask while we're online, so we can get clarity on anything that that you guys might not. Sometimes I explain things a little bit vaguely, but yeah. Okay, it looks like we're getting some kind of rejection here on the Bollinger Band. Let's see, ADX is climbing strongly on the 10 seconds at the moment. We have a very high ADX on the 1 minute as well, telling me there's quite a bit of strength behind this move here. But I'm pretty sure we can just see if we do get some kind of rejection here. We might actually have a divergence build up soon as well. Lots of stuff that could happen. Even though I'm trying to explain Martingale, a Martingale money management strategy, I'm still not going to take unnecessary risks. We are going to wait for entries from any of our strategies, but it does look like we might have a rejection here. If price pushes down now, we're going to see, okay, it didn't. Unfortunately, I was hoping it would push down before the candle closed, because if this happened, we would have seen the band still contracting, and it would have been a good indication that price might come down for a bit. But it does look like we might get some divergence here. Lots of bullish momentum at the moment still from these moves, from these bullish candles. No real sign of it coming down. We might, what would be ideal is if price spikes down now to this moving average here. At the same time, I would like to see my RSI get rejected. If this happens, I'm going to take a buy trade. If my RSI does reject off the middle line here, I'm going to be taking a buy trade. There we go. That one was a bit late, unfortunately. Okay, so we've entered a trade. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our Martingale multiplier. We're going to use it on both time frames. Okay. One thing we're not going to do, and this is a mistake that a lot of people make when using Martingale. I got a buy entry now. Although it's a faint entry, I did get a buy entry from one of my strategies. What I'm not going to do is, if this trade loses now, I will not immediately take another trade. I am not going to be doubling down on a losing trade. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for a new entry. Once I get a new entry from one of my strategies, I will take another trade, and that trade will be for 625. Okay, so we are going to lose this one. We've got 2 seconds left. We lost that one, so we're down 6.2, but it's not a problem. This is where Martingale comes in. So to incur an actual loss, I have to lose my next two trades as well, which is very unlikely. But like I said, we're not doubling down on a losing trade. That's a lot of people do this with Martingale, and quite often, if, for example, we would see a big candle like this, a few big green candles like this, and people will start taking put trades while price is still here, and they will lose, and they will keep on taking put trades, and price will just keep on running. This is a very effective way of wiping your account balance, because every trade needs to be bigger than the previous one. And I've seen runs where you get up to 15 green candles or 15 red candles, and it's a very, very effective way to simply wipe your account. Okay, so we're definitely not going to double down on losing trades. We know that we lose trades. We've covered this in previous videos as well. We will lose trades. Nobody wins all their trades, but we don't get excited when we lose trades, because we stick to our we stick to our strategies. We only take entries that's given to us by our strategies. This looks like a buy. We do have some faint divergence here. It's a bit tight to my liking. Let's see if it maybe pushes up. Now, we're probably going to hit this middle Bollinger first, but we need to wait and see. This might be a good buy opportunity. If this hits on the 1 minute, there we go. 1 minute Bollinger coincides with the 200 moving average here on the 10 seconds, but it also coincides with my RSI on the middle line. So what I want is my RSI to tap the middle line and get rejected. I will definitely risk a buy trade then. Let's see what happens. Didn't quite make it, but again, not too worried. I don't like taking trades that's close to my entry conditions from my strategies, because quite often, if you don't wait for a proper setup, it looks like it's gonna go your way, but in the end, it's gonna burn you. This is a very good example. If I did take this just because it was close but not within the parameters of my trading strategy, I would have lost this trade as well. I cannot stress how important patience is when you are trading. Doesn't matter what strategy you're using, you do need to make sure that you have A, very clear entry conditions, and B, wait for those conditions to be to present themselves before you actually start taking trades. We are dropping here. Let's see. We are definitely moving down. There's the hit on the RSI middle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wait and see if this rejects. So if price pushes back here, I will consider a buy trade. It needs to close above my Bollinger middle line. But if it doesn't, it's fine. We'll just wait for a new entry. Okay. Very important though to remember about Martingale, do not double down on losing trades. This looks like it's going to reject. Okay, so we've got a few seconds left. If this candle closes like this, I'm going to go with it, because this is a rejection for us. It did, so I'm going to take a buy trade. That's our technically our first Martingale step, but our second trade. Now we just need to wait and see if it goes through. In the meantime, we're going to do another 2.5, because that will be the size of our next trade. If this one loses, I'm pretty sure this will make it though. We did get rejected off the Bollinger middle line. This looks like it's turning. Didn't quite make it to the 100 moving average. We are breaking through the middle line on the 10 seconds. This should hold, but anything can happen. There's no way to tell what the market is going to do. We just take our entries from our strategies, and that's it. Well, this one's going to lose again. I am kind of rushing trades at the moment. I'm not too worried about accuracy as much as the actual martingale, what you call it, money management strategy. Okay, the stream looks like it's going good. Internet is holding, thank goodness. We might get some divergence here as well, some bullish divergence. It would be nice if this rejects again. Doesn't look like it's gonna though. I'm just gonna give it a minute. Nope. Okay, I'm going to take another trade here because we did have very bullish, normal bullish divergence. This did push up a little bit on the 1 minute. We still closed just above the Bollinger middle line. So let's see if this will hold. This might actually be a good time to also, or a good example of the reasons why I'm not too fond of Martingale, because if I do lose this trade, I'm going to be down $25. And if I win this trade, I'm going to be making, I think we're like on $7 or something. A total profit of like $7 or something. So, like I said, Martingale will help you sometimes if you have a decent strategy, but using it incorrectly, and there we go, this trade is going to be gone. Okay. And here's the thing that gets me down on Martingale. Now I have to start over with 2.5, and recovering this now will be a lot of work if I use a Martingale strategy. But like I said, I am rushing my trades a little bit because I want to show how we use Martingale. That's the most important thing. Let's see. We're also we're like 10 minutes away from the UK session. I'm sorry, from the US session. US markets are going to start opening in 12 minutes. So we can expect a little bit of increased volatility. When this happens, we can start looking for ADX spikes, for DI spikes on the ADX. This is going to be a buy trade for sure. Okay, so I'm going to take a buy. If price taps the Bollinger Bands while they are still contracting, I'm definitely going to take a buy for 1 minute as soon as it taps. Let's just see if this happens. Looks like it's not going to happen. These bands need to be contracting though. If it hits and it's still contracting, that's a clear buy for me. But we still need to wait for that to happen. Quite often you will have a strategy where you where the setup comes close, and then you will take a trade, but it would void, and then oftentimes people don't understand why they are losing their trades, but they're not waiting for their strategies to give an actual clear entry, depending on what the parameters or conditions are for that. Okay, so that's going to be looks like that's going to be a loss. Maybe not, but I doubt that it's going to push up. So we had quite a lot of good entries this morning. And like I said, I am rushing a little bit now. I'm not too concerned about accuracy at the moment, which is in itself not a good thing as anyway. But I really do want to get a few examples of decent changing martingale, how we go back and stuff like that. My usual trading speed when I'm trading with this, my charts are set up like this when I'm doing normal trading. So my usual trading speed is 3 to 5 trades an hour. That's usually the average amount of trades I take, because between the 1 minute and 10 seconds, that's about the amount of the entries I get from my strategies. So it's very relaxed, definitely not rushing. Okay, so we might see price push down now to this area here and possibly form some bullish divergence for us. Not guaranteed, but it becomes, after a while, it becomes fairly easy to identify areas where potential trade setups might take place. So it's not a definite that it will happen, but I know that I can pay attention, and we might get a setup in this area. We also might get a hidden bearish divergence setup now. That could actually take place. If it does take place on this moving average, we can take advantage of that as well. Yep. Again, jumped the gun a bit. Should have waited for the, what you call it? Stochastic to cross downwards. But we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty sure it's going to come down. Okay, so again, guys, if there's any questions you have on something that I'm doing, feel free to ask. We are not looking at trade accuracy at the moment. We are looking at Martingale. So we're not too worried about I'm taking, what do you call it? Low probability trades as well, which I normally wouldn't do. Just so we can get an idea of Martingale. Okay, we won the second step of our Martingale trade here. So we're going to have to go back to 2.5 to start over again. And then also remember, guys, those of you with PO Broker, if you're watching the stream and you can make use of of this promo code Martingale80 for an 80% deposit bonus from as little as $10. If you need to make use of that, there's a decent promo code for you guys. Let's just get those gone. Okay, so it turns out that the hidden divergence did play out. I just took it a little bit early, but did get saved there. And we are back on 2.5. 2.5 we got from a $500 balance. Using 5% of that's $25. And then to accommodate a 3-step Martingale strategy within that $25, we start with $2.5, and every time we do a 2.5 multiplier. Okay, so we are waiting for something. And really, guys, if there's any questions, feel free to ask. I am watching the chats. Ask those questions. It's always good to get answers instead of wondering. And like I said, I know sometimes I explain a little bit vaguely because I forget that a lot of people are not familiar with a lot of the concepts that I'm using. So I have a tendency to explain stuff a little bit vaguely. Please feel free to ask any questions. Okay, it looks like we're heading for this 200 moving average here, which is the red one. And we might get a decent DI spike on our way there. On the 10 seconds, the ADX is busy climbing really, really strongly. telling me that there's a lot of strength behind this move coming in. So a lot of bearish strength and momentum coming in. So we're going to be very careful taking reversal trades. We're not just going to simply take them because they're there, but we might get a DI spike on the 1 minute if it makes it down to either the red or the blue moving average, the 100 and the 200. We could get a decent DI spike for a proper reversal entry. Okay, so to quickly recap, Martingale is a decent money management strategy if you have a decent trading strategy. If you often lose a few trades in a row, if you win, if you lose 3 trades in a row on a base, a couple of times a day, or even on a daily basis, you seriously have to rethink using Martingale if you are using it. So that's one of the important parts. We need to make sure that you need to have a decent strategy if you want to use Martingale. Martingale will help you recover losses if you do not lose a lot of trades in a row on a regular basis. And then always just remember, it's not necessarily that you have a bad strategy. It could be that quite often people just rush their trades. They don't wait for proper setups from their strategies, or they might not have clear and well-defined entry conditions. So they take trades they shouldn't normally take, and that's something you need to go reflect on. There's unfortunately nobody can tell you that. You have to sit and figure that one out by yourself. What you are doing is what you are doing the correct way of doing it. Good way to keep track of that is keeping a trading journal, keep track of your trades, etc. But once you get the trading right, and you're running a decent win rate, Martingale will move the win. Whatever, if you're running, let's say you're running a 70% profitability rate, but you're not often losing trades consecutively, Martingale can help you push up your profitability rate, your win rate. But on the other side, if you do lose a Martingale third step, or I've seen people use more, I would personally never ever use more than 3 steps, but I've seen people use more. What you have to keep in mind when you decide what risk you're going to be using, you have to keep in mind that if you do lose, actually it's not going to be if, when you do lose 3 consecutive or 4 consecutive trades and you lose the complete Martingale trade, you need to understand that that's going to be a massive hit, and you're going to have to, it's going to take a while to recover it. That's the main reason I personally don't use it too often. I do use it in some instances. I will do a 2.5 multiplier trade. Sometimes I get a DI spike on the ADX. My timing's a bit off on it. I'll take another trade sometimes. But as a general rule of thumb, you need to understand that you will definitely, if you use Martingale, you will lose your full Martingale trade eventually. It is going to happen. It's unavoidable. It might not happen often, but you will require the discipline and patience to start over and make up that lost amount again. And that's going to take a few trades after that. Okay, so I missed was that divergence? No, that wasn't divergence. Not at all. Okay, so it looks like price is struggling to break through the 200 moving average here. Is this 200? Did I make it? No, the 100 moving average. I swapped the colors here. Okay, so price is struggling to get through the 100 moving average. Still not clear if it's rejecting or not. Could just be resting a bit. We're gonna see if what it does, and yeah, we're gonna take another trade. Let's have a look at our history here. Okay, so we had our Martingale trades. No, wait. We lost our first one, so we still need to recover that, and we won our second Martingale trade, which kind of sucks. So it should be clear that the risks involved with Martingale is real. You can lose a lot of money real quick, but it is profitable as well if you do it correctly. It definitely can be profitable. Just needed, like I said, decent strategy, a lot of patience. And don't trade too big. Work out a percentage on your account that you're willing to risk per Martingale trade. If possible, I would recommend like 5%, because normal trading, if you have $100 account and you're just doing one size trades, you're not using Martingale, you're just using one kind of, you're just using the same consistent trade. I would never trade more than 5% per trade anyway. So 5% maybe, but never more. Otherwise, you're trading too big and you risk, especially if you're kind of new to trading, don't risk too much money per shot. So Martingale, total Martingale trade, never more than, I wouldn't recommend more than 5%, but as low as you can go. But you do need, if you're doing three-step Martingale, you do need a minimum of $10 to be able to do those trades, to do three-step Martingale. Not really divergence there. We are nearing, oh, the US session just kicked off right there. We're 3 minutes into the US session now, 3.5 minutes. That's the volatility we're seeing coming in. There's no real data coming out today, so we shouldn't be affected by any data, any news releases and stuff like that. I think there's some data in like 2 hours, maybe, I think, if I remember correctly. Looks like we're getting hidden bearish divergence. Just got to wait for that to close, but it's pushing past, so it's voiding the divergence there. RSIs are, this one is, so we've got bearish momentum on the 1 minute. It's still very much. We might get a reload on the 10 seconds as well. Head downwards. Just got to wait and see what happens. Okay, so no divergence that formed. We're clearly not rejecting off the 100 moving average. It did break through. There's no reason yet to take a trade in any direction. Got some close entries, but they didn't quite hit, so we're not. I'm not taking any. Okay, so this could be the retest of the 200. Like I said, bearish momentum still very, very much on the 1 minute. We've also gone bearish on the 10 seconds. Everything's pointing down at the moment. No divergence. We might get a divergence set up here somewhere if it keeps pushing. Maybe. Okay, so clearly no questions on Martingale. Which is kind of understandable, I suppose. Most people know it, know the concept. But again, it's a bad idea to double down on losing trades. So if you're going to use Martingale, number one, you need a decent strategy, clear, well-defined strategy. If you get it entry from the strategy and you take your trade, you lose it. You wait for another entry before you do a Martingale trade. You don't immediately take the next candle or the next expiry period, because then that's only doubling down on a losing trade. You lost a trade and now you're doubling down on that. Most of the time that will burn you. But if you wait for a decent entry, for the next entry from your strategy, you'll be fine. You should be, if you have a decent strategy, that should be okay, and you should be, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for now? I cannot think of the word that I want to use. Anyway, so if you have a decent strategy, Martingale will help improve your win rate if you use it responsibly. But as long as you understand that it is something that can definitely very quickly turn into a bad situation if you use it incorrectly, or if you basically use it to recover losses that you're gambling anyway. If you don't have a proper strategy, you're gambling. I'm trying to decide what it's going to do here now. This could go either way. It's really testing this 200 moving average. Got rejected twice now. But unless we make a new high, this could still pretty much go either way. No divergence to give me an indication of where price might be going. In fact, we do have a fairly decent DI spike building here. I would love to see 1 minute hit here right now on this candle. If this candle hits here, that could be worth a put of the DI spike on the 10 seconds. It did not though. Might have gotten away taking that trade though. Do I have the right chat open even? Yes, I do. Let's see. I have to be honest, I did not realize how difficult it would be to explain a money management strategy doing live trades. I did not take into account how slowly I get entries. When I say slowly, like I said earlier, 3 or 4 trades an hour. That's my average trading rate, because I like to wait for good setups. I think maybe at some point I should see if I could. maybe get something that's a little bit faster that we can use. I'll see if I can do something with a little bit, even if the accuracy is a little bit down, we can maybe do a like a 30-minute speed run in future, where we use Martingale conservatively, but still use Martingale. Something to think about. Hey, Lawrence. And yes, those look good. That might not be too bad an idea on a day like today. It's super hot here where I am. It's really, really hot. Okay, it looks like we're breaking the 100 after 200 now. So it looks like we'll be continuing down for a bit. Or maybe not. Lots of volatility and indecision here. We technically have some divergence. Okay. I think we're going to call it here. At least the concept of Martingale should be a little bit more clear. Again, I've said this a few times, but I'm going to say this again. If you want to use Martingale as a money management strategy, you first of all, you need a decent strategy, trading strategy, right? It's fine if you, how can I put this? It needs to be decent at least. It doesn't have to be the best one out there, but it needs to be a decent strategy. Very important to have properly defined entry conditions. So if you do want to use Martingale, you use Martingale per entry. So if I get an entry, I'm going to take my first trade. If that trade loses, I'm going to wait for my strategy to give me another trade entry. Only then do I take my Martingale trade. We do not double down on losing trades. So if I take a 1 minute buy and I lose that trade, I will not take a 1 minute buy the second I lose that trade for the directly after that to try and recover my losses. Martingale is not it's not something you want to use to double down on losing trades. Remember, I think all of us have seen 1 minute charts, for example, that's got 10, 12, 14, 15 candles in one direction, green in a row or red in a row. And those are the perfect areas to wipe your account if you're using Martingale to double down on losing trades. It's fine if you get an entry on a run like that, and you take a trade and you lose that trade. That's okay, it happens. But what you need to do is wait for the market to normalize and your strategy to give you a new entry, a new trade entry, and then you Martingale. This way you're going to minimize the risk. You're going to have a lot less risk than you're going to have doubling down on a trade just because you want to recover that. Whatever you lost now, you want to recover immediately. That's almost always going to end badly. It's not a long-term sustainable thing, but you can, if you use Martingale correctly and you wait for entries from your strategy, you can actually use Martingale. I know a few people personally that uses Martingale as part of their daily strategy. So they always trade using Martingale, but they trade the way I do. They trade very cautiously, they trade very patiently, and they wait for their entries to entries from their strategies for their Martingale trades. They do not immediately double down when they lose a trade. Okay, so yes, thank you for watching. Next stream on Thursday, we're going to be having a look at the Ichimoku indicator, which is actually pretty awesome. And yeah, hope you guys join us. We're going to look at trading strategies for that specific indicator. So until then, those of you that's trading with PO Broker, I'm going to quickly remind you for the last time, if you are making a deposit, you can use the code Martingale 80 for an 80% deposit bonus with PO Broker. And yeah, guys, until next time, as always, trade smart, trade safe, and have a great day. Cheers.